All right, welcome everyone. So excited today. We have a double feature. We have Caitlyn, Parris, and Mama. And Mama's going to join us in a little bit, and she'll be second in the feature and just kind of jump in during the open mic when she feels ready. So be prepared. And we also have a special surprise collaboration between Finn Hall and Dane Ince. I got it right. Okay. People are still arriving. Let me get my poetry up. There it is. I brought 3 today. I've got Week, Train of Thought, and one I just wrote the other day, Angel. So you guys get to pick.
New shirt. Always like new shirt. New shirt.
Okay. Can do. All right. Let's see. Angel, do you remember me? She asks. Yes, I do, I say, walking closer to the chain link fence to see her on the other side. William Shakespeare was homeless, she says. Grandma, she says, I love you. I love you too, I say. That scares me, she says, wagging a bottle of whiskey, half full, half lit, confused, spewing Bible verses. Butterflies in October like children among the flowers in the garden. Flowers like angels briefly here. She hangs on the fence between us, looks at my ring. What kind of ring is that, she asks. Aquamarine, I say. That's a sign of child molester, she exclaims, pointing. No, it's not, I say, shaking my head. I guess I found your sore point then, she grins. I guess so, I say, shaking my head still. What kind of car is that, she asks. A Volkswagen Beetle, I say. We call her the Bee. She's seeing things. Why does it do that, she asks. I don't know, I say. Dial this number on your phone, she said. I do, and put it on speakerphone. Voicemail, but she doesn't leave one. Dial this other number, she says. This time she screams gibberish, cursing, Bible verses into the speakerphone through the fence. Hey, can I have $2, she asks. I don't have any cash, I say. I'm sorry. You'll have to make me your power of attorney then, she says, walking down the sidewalk. Turns the corner, scared. Grandpa, what's that blue ball for? She's scared of it. He says, just for decoration. She's not convinced. She spits through the gate. It's a nice garden you've made there, she says. Thank you, we say. She walks away, leaving the impression of yet another angel floating down the street. New people. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That really happened, as you probably can tell. Very sweet person. Okay. Now we have our first feature of 2, Caitlyn Parris, and I'm going to read a little about her first. All right. Caitlyn is a Murfreesboro-based poet where she attends MTSU and obtained an undergrad degree in English writing as well as a master's in curriculum and education with an emphasis in ESL. Caitlyn loves teaching high school ESL during the week. In her downtime, she enjoys hiking, climbing, and doing yoga. She has been writing since 3rd grade when she bought her first typewriter at a garage sale and enjoys exploring the mystical within the mundane. She's a regular contributor to Poetry in the Borough and has been delighted to see it grow since that first night some years ago. She's been featured at the Borough Art Crawl in collaboration with Poetry in the Borough, Under One Roof, Nashville's first poetry festival, and the Bloom Stage. She's been published in various journals such as the Rockvale Review and MTSU's Collage. She's been published twice by the 2018 and 2019 editions of Z Publishing House's Tennessee's Best Emerging Poets. And I can put her social media in there if that's okay. I can put it in the notes. Is that okay? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
welcome,
that's fine.
Caitlyn. Welcome.
Yay. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I thank you guys for getting on Zoom for some time for poetry. So I will go ahead and start. This is a poem about reflecting on the eclipse that happened some years ago. I like to, like she said, see the mystical and the mundane, and one place I see that is in nature quite a bit. So this is called Tension. The silence of the moon slowly encroaching, enlivening the sun's already brilliant gaze. The two so long separated, dichotomy of night and day, broken, united into one. I breathless fell, shouting inside, my God, and the tears of horror and joy fled down my face at this. Beautiful and terrifying. Here it was, the tension. Nature teaching me once again how to live in it. So this next poem is another place that I find the mystical, and I see that we have some cat lovers. So this is about actually my cat, and it's just kind of our fun little ritual we do each day. So it's called The Cat Wants Some Eggs. Two emerald orbs peer at me from across the breakfast table. The cat wants some eggs. He hears the trigger sounds of water filling the pot and coffee beans grinding like church chimes, and begins his ritual song. I wait exactly 8 minutes and run the boiled beauties under cold water. I strike them against the sink like a gong and gingerly peel off the cracking outer layer, revealing their offering. Today they submit easily and I lose little of my breakfast. Now for the sacrament. I remove 2 yolks, cholesterol, you know. I share some bits with the yowling wonder. He is so like my soul, awake, wondering, and uncertain, despite all redundant ritual, if grace will come again, bright, yellow, shining, and soft in the morning. So that's about my cat. Thanks, guys. And I'm flipping back and forth between screens, so I'll try to read things. This one is called Cheers to All the Lives That I Am Not Living. Like the sharp taste, lime juice and Corona, like the R's that roll and rumba off my tongue, and the joyous crackle of tajin or takis, I speak in salsa clumsily to someone braver, más confidente. Is it appropriate or appropriation? Am I cultured or acculturating and taking the parts I want with none of the parts that I don't? I don't know what it's like to have someone say, go back to your country. Country, some imagined thing in our collective cosmos that we have created to mean something, but there is algo más en cada país, algo más que una frontera, y I want to touch that something more. I want to pour out a libation for all the lives I cannot and have not lived. So I teach ESL, so I'm constantly wanting to care more for my students, and I'm constantly asking myself, like, how much am I allowed to, relate to other cultures without trying to appropriate it? And that's a question that I think is important as an ESL teacher, as really any teacher. So this next one is called The Bible Belt. I was raised in a really, in a Christian household, but I've kind of, wrestled with that and spirituality and constantly learning and growing. So this is called The Bible Belt. The Bible Belt whips, too simplistically quips. The Bible Belt loops, sinners and saints into groups. The Bible Belt holds, like stale old bread molds. The Bible Belt cinches, cuts off circulation, wrenches. The Bible Belt looses, allowing for certain nooses. The Bible belt clangs, bar, prong, chape, and frame. The Bible belt is silent. When against some, the state is violent.
Wow.
All right. Thanks. I got a couple more. So this first one is a lesson called A Lesson or A Message to Women Who Say Sorry Too Often. And then the next poem will actually be about my dad, and it was published in the Rock River Review. My dad died when I was 13, so that's a big part of my story. It comes out in my poetry a lot. So this is called A Lesson. The moss does not apologize to the tree that it resides on, nor the flower to the stem that it relies on. The bird does not apologize to the branch housing its nest, nor the wasp when choosing which eve would be best. The riverbed does not ask to be excused because of the path it moved to choose, nor do the clouds, the sun, the wind self-efface, but go on being with contented grace. And you, I am told, are substance same, though merely given a different name.
Wow.
Okay, this is called My Dad Always Hated Tattoos, so I wrote a poem instead, although I did also get a tattoo, a couple tattoos. Sorry, Dad. I used to ask my dad what his favorite color was. This seemed like an important question at the time. He gave me an answer I thought was a cop-out as a child. I don't have one. You need all the colors. I didn't understand that for an artist this was true. I thought surely he couldn't like black. Even after he was gone, I couldn't feel like he liked the last color he saw as he left this world. Yet maybe black was okay with him, like a long-awaited rest, a silk curtain drawn on this act, or a sigh. I associate him with the color brown, which was the color of everything, which is the color of everything at once. The Folgers coffee he drank, wood he carved into bears, moose, horses, and trees, his skin in the summer with that olive tint of Cherokee, stains on his gray lounge pants, mud on the bank of the Hamilton Lake, fried potatoes, the only food he ever cooked, the Bible he read and taught from, the forest we explored, and the dirt he never feared touching.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Okay, let's see. How am I on time? I don't want to take up too much time. I think I got 3 more.
I think you're
That's
good.
okay. Okay. All right. This is called Puddles. And then after that, I'll read one called Just Words. Puddles fill like impatient wells, mirroring tears in my eyes on the precipice, precipitating my unraveling. My heart is like a skinned knee. While another headline lands, lighting up my phone, I look with resignation, caught in an impasse built of ignorance, peace, and responsibility. Tragedy sits in my classroom and on my phone, but all I have is a bag of apples, sweet flesh of my offering, and I no longer know how to pray, but I call my students to the table if they are hungry. By Friday, all my apples are gone, and so are the puddles. It's called Just Words. I am not one to strike Instagram inquiries, Twitter tiffs, or Facebook feuds, but when you say hate speech is just a byproduct of free speech, I have to wonder if you've been paying attention. Attention to what words have instigated, ignited, and incited. It's true that neither you nor I have had to vie for our own rights, our own fights, our own plights, to be valued. Could it be that you and me are insulated and immune, which makes us assume that words are just shapes just sounds, just symbols. But this logic clangs like cymbals in the brains of those who've had to fight for their rights, their plights, their lives. Can you hear the words click like keys in a lock, loosing shackles as we turn back the clock? Can you hear words whistling at dog-like decibels as sympathizers and supremacists reemerge and revel? Written on the page or shouted at the sky, yes, I would like to hear more, just words. Thank y'all. All right, this is my last one. I really appreciate all the kind words. You guys are awesome. Okay, this is called By Walking, and I'll close out with this. Thank you so much for your attention. I value it a lot. There is no map to truth, my friend. No compass, no true north. There is no clever trick to find the ever-flowing source. There is no golden pathway, no gilded witching rod. There is only you and I now, tracking long across the sod. The truth is in the walking, friend, in the labor, in the strife. It's the struggle that makes us whole. In death, we find our life. Thank y'all so much.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Looking forward to hear what all y'all have to say and your poems.
Thank you. Next, we have a surprise collaboration between Finn Hall in the UK and actually Scotland, right? Scotland, yes. And Dane Ince, who is in California. Is that correct?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. So the floor is yours.
Okay.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? All right.
Yeah.
When you were born, you come in the middle of everyone else's movies. Here's an intersection of two writers from different parts of the world in the time of pandemic, seen through this telescope of humanity over time, touching love and loss and an aspiration for understanding some small part of the mystery of life.
Not all as it appears. She always wore a single red rose on her satin lapel and looked quite stunning. His black suit was spotless and he appeared very dashing. Together they made an engaging couple and heads turned whenever they walked, arm in arm down the street. But who could begin to guess their shared deep secret from their dark and dangerous past, when former partners of each other lay in bloody postures buried 6 feet below the ground. Sitting in a shadowed cafe, Dane looked out and saw the passing couple. Nothing looks back from this, he said to no one in particular. Finishing his JD and scraping the seat on the well-worn floor, he got up and went out into the street.
The unfinished idol was giving Finn fits, so at his dark desk, sitting idly, spinning old coins from a corner of the desk, wondering if an idea from ghost notebooks from other lifetimes ago would, winking back, smile as to what they were on about, dancing in felt hats. The room is filled only with the whisper, wobble, unwinding, falling of the 2p, and fingers tapping.
Somewhere, somehow, the pretend debonair couple had a past that must be uncovered. No fancy clothes were able to hide their dirty laundry once deeper searches were begun. No murdered memories, whether real or supposed, would be left unturned. Sacred cows will be sacrificed at the altar of improbability in the search for the past. I saw you laughing in the dark, your senses dulled by the mist of glamour hiding the truth.
Do you put sugar in your cornbread? Of course you don't. Her freckles blinking transparent as she giggled, laughing, fully reeling him in with stories of life on the river, the Mississippi. Her story rolled on. You'll see. That was the raging debate, and it did not end there. They went on to fight about catfish. Let me tell you, get everything you need together, assembled and ready. The fish has to be dead. Make yourself certain of that. Behind the gills, begin the cutting just around the fish all the way, just through the skin, carefully cutting. If you have a tree branch handy, ready, by the gills, hang the fish. If you're in a kitchen, just use anything that's handy. Use some pliers or something from the head to the tail, pull off the skin. Start the fillet near the tip of the tail, lard in the big black cast iron skillet, melting, fry them up, golden delight. They walked every night, just around midnight.
Footsteps, erratic, never repeating. Why are we concerned with what's particular here? Bodies buried, not deep, but deep enough to hide. Whatever way the fish wriggles, we will dig the truth, that's clear. Words from distant corners, pieced together over some molten barley. As you talk about the quid pro quo, I point out, I don't speak Spanish, but that doesn't put you off. The past will be uncovered, uncorked like a perplexed bottle of, well, whatever is your poison. Everyone has had neighbors at some point, even though the bombs were falling. Somebody must have been there.
The noisy neighbor lived over at Ma Cameron's for years and years, knitting since the war, crochet and tatting, claims to have never seen or heard a thing. Oh gosh, lots of folks all dressed in big red heads around this part of town. Nothing so anybody would notice or know anything perplexing, much less erratic. Now, I have heard stories. Some say spirits and ghosts, and some say gangsters and his gal. My advice, even though you're not asking for it, is that you not uncork any old bottles of poison if you know how best to be. Take up a hobby, learn a language for fun. Latin or Spanish will keep you busy. We're not looking for any more bombs of falling. We had enough of that during the war.
Old notebooks, different covers, give the first hint of the lovers. The quietly hidden notes up to 1943 from MISSIS Sippy. Callaway George, colour 2, county 41, month 5. Twice entered, 2 different death certificates, bottom of the page. In other words, other pages, other stories, other strategies, other bodies. We aren't bulletproof. We need more proof. The secrets of our youth, the Highland and the riverboats, the old Kirk graveyard, the gravitas or stoic suffering of past years, the hints and deliberations, the catabasis unsolved, escaping from the rumors, separate freedoms unresolved. A maze is a labyrinth where there is no wrong direction. The dust from the past have tales of circumspection.
They swear on a stack of Bibles, I'm told, about bold and dashing George Callaway and Mary Cotton, who is from where and who said what when is a muddle, is confusion, clear as foggy bog and crystal goblet. Writing, we weave this stumble, love, tragic, all magic, all fiction, all made up for pomade, promenade, except the pulsing fingertips on keyboard that conjure life's holy parade. George went on and on about his love of fish and chips in the high street of Saffron Hill. Mary loved him so much that his stories became hers. Those she loved and retold as her own around Old Kirk graveyard, sometime around midnight, nearly this time of year. Mary and George went strolling arm in arm, smiling, smiling.
Oceans apart, countries apart, but matters of the heart, that's another thing entirely. The gangs without pangs of guilt who killed, blood spilled, and she, disappearing husband number 3, wanted to spend her life with he. Cruelty, run across the sea after he ran from his ex-wife, ex-life. Bullet in the head, 48,000 square miles, not enough to hide. Come on over to the other side, finding Mary again after the war.
With misery in a string, Mary Cotton is fed up, tied up, strung up by the neck with the string. Who was to figure, to decipher? This is the way the story would be told. Dark, black nursery rhymes, the dancing, the singing. How do you sing it now? Lying rotten down to the bone, never to be forgotten. Mary is dead, eyes wide open, frozen in bed, for doubling over men who were giants next to her 4'11" reign of terror. Arsenic for Frederick, Charles, and James get a taste of it too. Some holiday ham seasoned for George's delight. The savory sweet, the arsenic powder, the dinner, the ending in hanging, the string of the nursery rhyme. The murderers murder their spouses. We have holiday cheers with sweet treats dusted with arsenic sweet. The dead rotten deeds ended in poisoned desserts. This could be made up. This could be real. Now it's just ghost haunting Old Kirk graveyard sometime around midnight, nearly this time of year.
Dapper behind him, swave in the past. The last waltz has been danced. No more strolls, no more eyes seeing the couple. A dyad no more. After the rope, after his escape to no escape, the boat to oblivion, no more. No more white roses, no more satin blouses, no more black suits. The couple lying separately, like their former partners, 6 feet beneath the ground. To be continued. Thank you.
Wow. You guys keep writing. That is amazing. The imagery and the story.
Oh, we are. We've started
Oh, yeah.
thinking that already, Matt.
That's awesome. And I was saying
Thank
you
you.
might want to put it on YouTube, like record it on YouTube and have it in segments.
Yeah, we're getting there. We do, the thing is, it's worked out. It's just amazing because literally one person writes a verse or does some research on Google, and then coincidentally, we're doing this pretty much similar kind of researches on Google round about the same time. Like, you know, oceans apart, worlds apart, we're still doing that. And it's just, you know.
That's
thinking.
magic.
Yeah, that's why it works, I think.
Mhm. You guys have chemistry in a good way.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's get into the open mic. And Mama, I'll do your bio when you're ready to jump in. So we have to do your bio. Okay. All right. First off, we have Doc Janning. He's here. Doc? Okay, let's go to Franchesa.
Sorry.
Franchesa Kirkpatrick. Oh, Doc, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. My grandson came in, so.
Oh, how blessed. That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, bloody hell. My screen froze up. Go on to Franchesa
Okay,
and then come back to me.
will do. Franchesa, are you ready?
I'm ready. I just had a little bit of a like, oh, do it, don't do it, and then I shut my book. So anyway,
Okay.
let's see. Polychromatic. Polychromatic. Colors that blend into art as polychromatic schemes and themes. Bizarre the air, the flare, which blend together to form a whole ray of delight to the eye, like kaleidoscope, turning shapes in page, bursting with hues and shades and changing in optical grand illusion, pouring color into mathematical twists, gliding into connections, color that shines and glitters in the eye of the viewer. How elegant pieces fit making a puzzle effect. The examples of such I recall polychromatics, twirling many pinwheels in the grass. Color kites on kite day, flying against the sky in San Juan, Puerto Rico. In Greece, in Italy, gelato flavors, color I can taste. The wind at Windsor Castle blowing world flags back and forth. cave paintings on the walls of Lascaux and Altamira dancing in the light of the oil lamp, fireworks blasting sounds and color above the dark sky, the rose window of Notre Dame in Paris. I see sunlight create a polychromatic shadow on the floor of the cathedral.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful. Very colorful.
Thank you. And I know there's a lot of people today, so I'll let a bunch of other people go ahead and do their.
Okay, appreciate that.
Thank you, though.
And that is a good point to say that if we can do one poem now each, then we'll have more time at the end. But we have a lot of folks on the list. So
Thank you.
let's see.
Thank you.
Doc, oh, you're welcome. Doc, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
The door of self. Among ungoverned skies and forgotten stars, midst the vantablack of space on the edge of beyond, I am everything and I am nothing at all, seen in shadows within shadows. I am a pointillist portrait, assembled, disassembled, reassembled. I slip through realities and walk through the door of self into the difference between myself and myself, into memories I should not have, of an unremembered past and the unknown future, of time folding into itself, into a cloud of limitless possibilities where all is coincidence and nothing I would ever know, but I knew.
That was beautiful. I love the way you bend the mind with the perceptions as you go along.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I try.
You did great. And now, if you're ready, we have Lantern Carrier.
Ah.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Untold assets. The sound of the siren was deafening in the distance. Looking through her rearview mirror, she saw the green and scarlet flashing lights speeding towards her and knew instinctively that she was in trouble. Deep down into the south, this was not new, and many parents had equipped their children with the skills necessary to stay alive. She began to reminisce, to send her adrenaline in alert mode as she pulled to the side, applied the brake gently and waited. The police car stopped behind her and two officers got out, hands on hips, as they approached the glimmering frame of the Scarlet Beauty. Even before the female officer spoke, Faustina could hear her father's voice. Do not give them any cause to shoot you. Keep your hands visible at all times, he'd warned. Is this your car, madame? Asked the female officer. Yes, ma'am, she replied politely. Can I see your driving license? Faustina reached for her driving license, making sure that her hands were visible, just as Dad requested. The license was also not concealed, as she had chosen not to risk putting it in the glove compartment. Funny how quickly we can think in these situations. Be smart, be polite, use your charm and allure, her mother had advised her. And she remembered, as the male officer also peeped inside her car, scanning its contents like an X-ray machine. Good evening, officer, Faustina smiled. Handing the driving license to the female officer, she looked alluringly into the eyes of the male companion. She was endowed with both physical and inner virtues, which she quickly summoned to her aid. Allowing her chest to heave forward, she began to show her merits, her bosom, her flawless cleavage, even as her enchanting Yves Saint Laurent permeated the vicinity of the policeman's breath. He gazed and she knew immediately where his glance rested. Floral blouse and skirt, designer glasses, she looked gorgeously ravishing, played on this to the pinnacle of excellence, even while maintaining her dignity and self-respect. Do you know why we stopped you? The female officer inquired. No, officer, Faustina replied. It's because you were doing 35 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Ever so sorry, she replied, still smiling at the male officer. I won't let it happen again. You see, Faustina's mom had taught her all she knew about the ways of men, of how they undressed you with their eyes, the things that was meaningful and attractive to them, as well as how to be poised and dignified, but assertive. Now she also needed to get past the female officer. She remembered Dr. King's "if I had sneezed" speech, and knew that she did not even appear to be unhelpful, even for a single moment. You also seem to have a bald tire, the female officer continued. Faustina smiled, this time looking at the female officer with a face of concern, and apologized. She said that she had fixed the tires only recently, but was sorry for the inconvenience that she caused. Once more, she looked into the male officer's eyes, utilizing her charisma and exquisite beauty to the fullest. He returned the smile, took a look at the tires, then had a word with his colleague. She handed back the driving license, asked Faustina to drive safely, and they both drove away. Faustina got out of her car, fuming. She had won this time, but she felt humbled and dismayed, desolate and victimized. She stood near the tires that she knew were brand new, standing proudly on a car, which was equally worthy. She felt sad that once again, a Black woman was stopped in the neighborhood for daring to drive an expensive Rolls. London Carrier, thank you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Very powerful.
As for Black History, we've got Black History Month here in England.
Yes. Very good.
One of
Very
my
well
pieces.
done.
One of my pieces. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Let me look here. All right. Next, if you're ready, we have Joy.
Me?
Yes.
I'm going to read this thing that I wrote for 40 Days and 40 Rights just a few days ago. And it is called Lethe, and it's after Keats' Ode on Melancholy. Okay, here we go. Yes, yes, drink deep from Lethe. Also go to sleep with Ambien, or what's more hefty. Suffer this aged body to leaf hold whatever brings death and a forgetting. Count mala beads and wish for nobody, nothingness. Get used to the idea. Your psyche will no longer call earth home. No need to share this ache, its old story, for this hurt is your one and only idyll. And at the finish, we all die alone. When the pain of aging hits, suddenly or more gradual, with a thunderclap or like a soaking shower, wondrously, it's all a part of biography. So opt to see nature as the perfect repose, with its ants and birds and flowers and those grandiose backdrops made of trees and hills. When an anguish and a new miasma pose on your stoop, ride them out. They arouse nothing more naturally than your role. And you, your life, it has its beauty. Beauty that must die, Keats said, and he's right. If you were lucky, you found some juicy moments. Now reflect on them and delight in their occurrence, which made their going a possibility. Soon to say goodbye is a gift viewed from both sides. One way, time was, and you got it. The other, it is slowing and will shortly stop. Find serenity as you can in knowing you had fellows.
Brilliant. I love that. A really juicy and miasma. I haven't heard miasma in a long time.
I'm pretty fond of Keats, and it was very engaging to rewrite that poem for me with a different, completely different take, and it's kind of made me want to get a book of, you know, best of, or, you know, just get the Norton Anthology out or something like that, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
read everybody's poems, you know, with my, you know, sort of inside outness on them. Anyway, thank you, guys.
Love it. Love it. Is Bryan Ira Franco here? He said he might be a little late. Next, we have Scott Coe from the UK. Looking. There you
Yeah,
are.
it's all right. I just have my screen decided to minimize just then. So give us,
Okay.
okay. Here we go. I'm afraid to get back in the water. Afraid the second wave will strike. And I swear I can hear it roaring. Afraid I'm not watertight. I'm afraid to get back in the water. In the sea, I don't wish to stay. I'm afraid to see more people drowning as it takes our breath away. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel that. Chills. Thank you. Next, we have Clive Oseman.
Hello. Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, not bad. Right, anybody that sees me perform regularly knows I can be a little bit crazy and a little bit different.
No problem.
But I'm a little bit more subdued tonight. So it's a new event to me. I didn't want to come in and be an absolute lunatic. So, the piece I'm going to do now is one that it was actually the first poem that ever won me a slam, and it was really popular when I was performing it regularly, and I could never really understand why. And in the end, I got totally fed up of it and just sort of retired it. And I just bring it back occasionally, and it is fun to do. So I'm going to do it now. As I say, it is fun, but it was written as I was emerging from a spell of depression, which I get from time to time. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and this is true. I woke up in the middle of the night and had this sort of random thought: I wish I could buy myself a new personality. And oh, hang on a minute, there's a poem there. And this came out, so it's not exactly serious, but it's not as crazy as some of the stuff I do. It's called An As Yet Untitled Bit of 4 AM Can't Sleep Madness, open brackets, yes, that is now the title, close brackets. Because I do like a good snazzy title, you know, it's... Then if the poem's shit... Oh yeah, that's the other thing, I do tend to drop in the odd swear word, so I hope nobody's going to be offended.
Also, no problem.
Yeah, so... I gave it that title, so I thought, well, if the poem's shit, then at least, you know, it's got a decent title, hasn't it? So, yeah. Saturday morning. My thoughts a mess as I tried to guess the best scenario of how the day would play. I tried to say I knew the way, that everything would be okay, but was talking shit with no one listening anyway. My demeanour was 50 shades of grey, but not in that badly written, kinky kind of way. No. Grey. As in dullard, uninteresting, where the greatest thing about me is I make a smashing pot of tea. But I drink it all myself, of course, because an hour with me is the road to insanity. Bored out your skull and yelling profanities, staggering and dazed like a wasp smashing brains against double-glazed panes in a desperate effort to flee. Saturday afternoon. No clue what to do, no canny plan, no direction, and upon reflection, no hope of being a popular man. So I stole a camper van. Had this idea to drive to IKEA, ditch tedious banality, and buy myself a Swedish personality to put together when I got it back to my rather less than immaculate flat, which stank of cat piss and cannabis. I'm not a fan of this pre-prepared cack, cheap crap flat pack bought by sad saps who think it good form to conform to a boring norm like Norman and Norman Normal, or the Swedish-born nerds Bjorn and Leon and Jormelberg. But it's what people like, and I need to be light, so I prepared to reveal the brilliant light of the shining new me with the ready-made personality. Let everyone see how good I could be with the flaws tucked away behind doors and ignored. But it didn't quite go as expected. When the finished product was inspected, there were a few loose screws and some bits that refused to fit anywhere. Misfits, like size 12 feet in size 7 shoes, and soon I made the local news as the guy who was beyond to lose. The desperate Dan, who failed as a man, found guilty of stealing a camper van. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
It's okay.
Now we have Cynthia Winfield.
Hi, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I have chapter 4 of Ilse. This is the novel I've been bringing to you. Ilse, chapter 4. I am singing, "Thank you, Lord," softly yet joyously here in my room in a stick-built house with a window overlooking a meadow across the street. I'm betting there'll be deer there come dusk. It feels that tranquil out here on the other side of the Cumberland River. I can feel my life moving in flow, Lord, on a river of your grace. You sent me a sweet angel who settled me here and is giving me space to adjust to the tranquility of this room. So suited is it to creativity with its window, overlooking a neat yard and then the pristine meadow, especially at dawn or dusk. Watching the light change over there from my seat here across the street. Well, all I can say is that I feel dreams will be born on the street. They may be born drawings or poetry, I don't know, but something about coming across the river has changed my whole energetic field, and I'm vibrating with excitement, eager to see dusk settle her cloak around the shoulders of this sweet bungalow here in North Nashville, where this angel even gave me a window. I do not have to sit with my senses on full alert. I can simply bask in the tranquility. Thank you, Mr. Alford, for providing me with this tranquil haven, this sanctuary on a quiet street, one that I can admire from my window. You know, I rather like this living in the flow, riding the river of energy, trusting the God of my understanding to do her absolute best by me always. And look, here I am in a room of my own, in time to enjoy the quiet before dusk, as that pillowy gray cloak settles in and darkens, bringing families of deer as day turns to dusk. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, God, for this tranquil spot. I can tell Mr. Alford has done this before. He knows how to get a gal settled in here, make her feel at home on a new street. He's gone back out to rustle us up some grub, asked if I cared to accompany him, but I said no, I just want to ride this river of feelings and get settled into my new abode in its with its oh so delightful window. No, it's more than delightful, it's all inspiring. Through this window, when the families of deer passed through at dusk, I was so grateful to have been transported across the river from a parking lot beside a residential neighborhood, but still a parking lot, to this pastoral scene of tranquility on Finder's Lane, this shady, quiet side street. If all it takes is acknowledging my God and living into gratitude, I honor you right here, right now. A little room that I can tell he cleaned out just for me with its window and tranquil view. What's not to love? And especially as dusk settles in upon this street, thank you, gods and goddesses, ancestors, those who have gone before, for placing me on this river of your energetic flow, and oh, so gently landing me here, right here on this little street. Thank you.
That's beautiful. I love your imagery, your choice of words. Everything flows so well, and you paint a wonderful picture. Thank you for sharing that. Is Michael Gerard Collins here? No? And then we have Bryan Ira Franco, who just joined. Bryan, would you like to go? You just got here.
I know, I just got here. I need to gather myself real quick. I'm sorry, I'm so
I have
late.
no problem with that. No problem at all. And we don't have Michael Collins. Okay, so now we have the choice of Mama. Mama, can I read your bio? All right. Mama is Nashville, Tennessee's very own ever so loved and familiar face in the spoken word scene. Incorporates her technical study of theater and language arts into a beautiful medley of pain, passion, precision, and presence when she presents to the people. When asked what are her influences, she simply responds, life and all that's in her. Mama is an energy felt by those she reflects. She looks like truth from all perspectives. Her purpose is to heal. She gives many thanks to Po' Boys and Poets Nashville, Southern Word, Christine Hall, Amy Hoskins, and Solo Grace for their contribution to her success. And now we have Mama.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good. Thank you for having this platform. Very important, especially during this time. You know, it's kind of, it's interesting and it's a different perspective just to see all of your beautiful faces on my screen and have to and meet you guys this way. But, you know, I still feel the love. We're all here, all community.
Yes, I agree.
Across the pond. So I'm gonna get started. I have 3 pieces today. This first one is titled America, and I think it is pretty self-explanatory. Your word is America. Can I have the definition, please? A country that was not made for you. Can I have its origin? You. America. America. AMERIKKA, America. Tell me. Why don't you like me? I mean, not that I care at all or anything, but I'm just curious as to why. You should be worshiping me for the millions of dollars I brought to you from 1501 to 1865, similar to the millions of lashes you brought to me from 1501 to 2020, massa. I mean, America. Do my gold chains and big rings offend you? Cause I thought you was big and bad running around with them white sheets on your head looking like Casper, but I don't believe in ghosts. You're like my ungrateful child. I built this nation, carried it on my back for you to strive in, and I never got a thank you. All I got was beatings, bullets, and bombs like on June 1st, 1921 in Oklahoma when you let them things go on the first Wall Street, first Black Wall Street, America. Cause like you hate me, but love what my melanin brings. You love my Afrocentric features like my lips, Kylie Jenner, my hips, Amber Rose, my hair, Miley Cyrus. You love the way nigga falls off your privileged lips, which by the way, I still don't understand why you can't seem to comprehend why you can't say that. You pay top dollar for my culture, so why not me, America? I am my brothers and my sisters. I am him, sagging his pants, playing dice. I am her, a single mother of 3, struggling to make ends meet, but I also am him in the suburbs with eyes burning into my back because you're wondering which drug I sold the most of to get here. I am her, vice president of a Fortune 500 company, but all you can seem to wonder about is how many times I've opened up my legs to get in this position. When I speak with diction and carry myself with poise, I'm accepted by you because I talk and act white. Because I sound educated? Is that a Caucasian trait? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we have to educate you that having sex with animals is a no-no? Excuse me, mister. You seem to have perhaps mistaken me for one of my fellow colleagues. I mean, that's cool and all. But even after attending the illustrious Howard University, I'm going to still say, you got me fucked up, America. Land of the brave, home of the free. Is it home of the free when my Black best friend goes to a predominantly white school? And yes, I said predominantly because y'all hate when us nigga folks use words not in the Urban Dictionary. Predominantly white school. Star athlete for your school. Will it be home of the free when he's walking home at night with his hood on because it's 36 degrees, wagging his finger, listening to his rap music? Will he make it home free, America? And no, I'm not just another angry Black woman rolling her neck with an attitude. No, America. See, I'm Black, I'm a woman, and I'm pissed off because you killing in my hoods. No, my hood like Trey and Eric, I'm getting choked up. I can't breathe, America. God, yes, I know all lives matter, and if you say that shit again, let me stop. Because you would have perceived it as a threat. Suspect is a female, African-American, about 5'3". By the way, my name is Mama. And if you so happen to see my name on your screen because I died in police custody, just know I did not commit suicide, America. So you can keep your lullabies and your bedtime stories because I'm woke now. And I ain't going back to sleep, America. A-M-E-R-I-K-K-K-A. That is correct. So, well, thank you guys. I'm seeing all of your comments. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that was just speaking on my experience in America. I'm sure our friends over here across the pond can speak on some social injustices that's going on over there. And that's really just our purpose and our mission as creatives, as people with voices and platforms to make sure that our voices are heard. Say it louder. Hi, Gary. But yeah, so I'm gonna get into my next piece. This one is called Forgive Me, Father.
What's up?
Haven't been to your house since Sunday. I've not shared communion with you. The last time I spoke to you was before I finally got some rest, Father. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray these demons don't come out to me. It was 6 long months. The coldest winter yet. I remember the world being so much more colorful. Summer days and fields kissed by spring. I'm still dreaming of the day silk black ravens prancing through ocean blue skies swoop down and tell me which flower looks most like God, like me. A visual, black and blue, always been beautiful. I wear them on my skin, accessorizing these colors like my devotion to you is the new black. Your love for me, Father, here, coexisting with my melanin for all to see. You turn me into a spectacle for all to see. Sacrificed your only begotten daughter to some moonshine. So forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. When I looked in the mirror, 11s were there in vibrant colors around my neck. 911, send help, pistol cocked in my 911. Cause this ain't what love feel like. Love ain't supposed to feel like paralyzing fear surging through ice cold veins. It don't sound like breaking glass against bedroom doors. It don't look like your stumbling silhouette encroaching my sleeping figure. It don't smell like whiskey and bourbon and whatever else the bartender kept coming, fending across my face. It don't taste like copper in my mouth while I'm saying this prayer to you. And if I die before I wake, I want everyone to know your signature, your John Hancock is imprinted on the largest organ belonging to me, but you took that, Father. Use me as your will, and no matter how hard I scrub, your black and blue ink just won't come off. My black is beautiful, and my blue. But so is your orange, Father. You wear it well, accessorizing that color like my devotion to you is no more. You never hurt me. In between frequent swigs of your sacred silver flask, you hear me now, Father? Jesus is on the main line. Tell them what you want. Amen. Right. That one takes a lot out of me every time I do it, but it's getting around that time of year where just like seasonal depression is a real thing. And just like on top of just regular depression, you know, it's hard. And this poem, I've come to notice that it speaks to a lot of people and it inspires that whatever change that needs to happen, or them to speak up finally, for them to find their voice, and it just encourages people, and that's what I strive to do. So for my last piece here, it's called Black Poem. And yeah, so I really appreciate you guys rocking out with me. I appreciate your attention and all of your kind words, and yeah, your presence. Thank you for showing up for poetry, showing up for yourself. You guys are awesome. So yeah. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Strange candy my little brother's eating from 12's Pez dispensers. Bleh. We a dying breed being hunted and exterminated, decimating faster than the rate of a species going extinct. You never cared. You always want to pull the black car, but never riding them black cars rolling through my hood. Excuses are black on black crimes like these black on black rhymes. I'm sitting here trying to spit to you. And this knowledge I'm trying to push to you like Sterling pushing CDs in front of the store. No body, but in Baton Rouge, his body is staying there. Being black feels like a lot right now. I feel the heaviness in the hands of every middle-aged white woman who sticks her hands in my hair, petting me like I'm her teacup Yorkie. I feel the pressure of 6 feet of dirt pressing down on Martin Luther King as he turns in his grave every time one of my brothers posts a pic of him and his snow bunny with the caption, MLK died for this. I feel the weight in my mom's words as she tells me to bite my tongue even if the white man is wrong. I feel the cloud of confusion closing in around me because usually mother's always right, but this time she's wrong. And when bullets come to us as easy as air does, we gon' inhale all the fuck shit and flip it and try to make a sale. What you want? I got racism, oppression, prejudice, discrimination, and if you want, I can throw in the blood of my brothers on your hands for the cost of their lives. Tax varies. It could be playing with a toy gun, Samir Rice, a bag of Skittles and tea, Trayvon Martin, failing to signal Sandra Bland, reaching for an ID, Philando Castile, being dangerous, being a thug, being black. Black poem, oh, don't it sound like just another black poem? I'ma drop a couple names of some fallen soldiers just to hit a snaps of your fingers and you'll forget all about that poem. But our soldiers, our brothers and our sisters fighting in a war we didn't even sign up to be drafted for. But little did you know, we can still get information like Beyonce was never in Destiny's Child. We are all Destiny's Child on a road mapped out towards a destination past any wall that stale Cheeto with a toupee could ever build. Like the walls of a black woman are stronger than a bed of lies she was forced to lay down on. Going through 246 years of excruciating labor, giving birth to an ungrateful nation. If you were ever wondering why it seems like this nation is so haunted, just remember it was built on ancient Indian burial grounds. We're at the burial grounds right now. Throwing your yesterdays filled with terror, mourn your grief, shed a couple tears for humanity, but when you are done, you must remember that we are soldiers, and soldiers keep marching on. We keep marching on like our ancestors. We breathe life into the youth. We support Black businesses. We love until it hurts. When America turns her cold shoulder like spaghetti straps on a winter night, we keep marching on. Thank you, everybody. That is my time. That is my set. I would love to connect you guys, so I'm gonna drop my info in the chat and let's be friends. Yay!
Love you, Mama. Love you.
Love you, Gary. Love you all. People. Mwah!
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. I can't express what we've just seen. You're just so beautiful and powerful and brilliant. Thank you. We have a few more people who've come in. Let me see. Oh, right. We have Bryan Ira Franco. Would you like to go?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay,
I first
cool.
want to say, why have I never seen Mama before? I have been missing out in life by not seeing her before, and I want to just put 2 or 3 hours of her onto my phone and listen to her on a road trip.
Bryan, she's all mine.
Okay, I'll let you. Okay, but I get to listen to her read poetry anytime I want, right? Okay, so I'm gonna just do a real short little love poem because Mama made me want to read a love poem. So
Aww.
it's called Savior. Will you be my savior? Will you be my life preserver? Will you be the one to preserve my sanity? Will you be my lover? Will you be my best friend? Will you talk with me when I won't talk back and know that I'm really screaming and crying? May I lay my head on your warm-hearted chest? May I breathe in your skin, your body, your soul, your life breath? Will you make love with me? Will you sleep next to me so I can hear your heartbeat rise up from the mattress to my pillow like a lullaby written just for me? Thank you, everyone.
That was beautiful. That was so pretty. Thank you. Wow. All right, we've gotten to the list of to the end of the list of the open mic, but would anybody else like to read?
Oh.
Gary?
Hello?
Kathy?
Oh, sorry.
Marley?
Julie.
Okay.
Marley.
I think actually Kathy raised her hand first. Did you? Would you like to?
Yeah, I'll do something real quick if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so this is called Pigtails.
Oh.
Let's call her Pigtails. She was 5, so was I. She said, would you like to come and play? And yeah, I really wanted to. But I just couldn't say because even at 5, all my words got buried in my chest, and when I tried to dig them up, they made me fight for breath. And then this curly head with Velcro shoes, because she couldn't tie her laces, said leave her. She never speaks. And she started pulling faces, and so off they went with her skipping ropes. And I watched them jump to the beat of a song. And I managed to stammer. Yeah. I want to play, but it was too late because they were gone. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Well done. Well done. And then Gary and then Marley. You ready, Gary?
Go. What a wonderful night. What lovely people. Wasn't Kathy just wonderful?
Yes, I agree. We're blessed.
Yeah. Isn't it nice to see so many friends?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Mr. Williams, great. All right, let's go for this. This is called, I've literally been writing this while this is going on. So I've been literally, this is how it goes. So to say this is new shit, it's really new shit. So what? An incandescent spark ignites a blue candle flame. Releasing the base to patronize the Shakespeare statue, one must his claim. So what? Why bring it on to me? Like page boys carrying the trail of royalty, drummers, sweeps, the cymbals erratically. So what? Then the bass levitates the gravity before the horn bellows with authority. So what? Listen, leading the show, the horn starts to blow. It's all out of your pay grade. This is high grade. You know, the trumpet repeats its order in a repeated song. I can see you all, your ears begin to blossom. Every hum pleasures your lordship with every word, infinite long. So what is so right and not so wrong? Still the drum cymbals shingle, obey the trumpet sword, unconditionally playing frantically, playing homage. Like halfway the tune trickless like bourbon. Smouldering labour, bumbling a beat, music for the consoles, played on the street. So what if I'm not posh? I've got happy feet. So what if I'm as high as a kite without a string? I want to take a deep breath and sing. So what? With all of my might, the music chases the kite. The horn intensely cruises in 5th gear. The power of the trail eliminates a cheer. Legalized heightens any fear. So what is not a melody? It's a harmony left in your mind to collect, but resonates. Arrogance resonates. So what? Is the music of maverick intent that resonates, of arrogance. So what? But still, I'm sad. I found peace. It did not make me glad. My body swings still. So what? Through swinging through cold blood breeze. So what? My body's a pendulum, back and forth, back and forth. In the heat of the night, blood drips. So what? Back and forth, back and forth. It's only in a battle that I can breathe and fear. Breathe and fear. Breathe and fear. Breathe and fear. Every day I battle in fear. I fear. They fear. To serve and protect. So what? I fear I'm going to get the wrath of my father, that I recriminate. I get down my knees and pray. I don't want to succumb to hate. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy Father, please forgive those who trespass against me. Father, Father, get me off my knees because I want to be better, better than those who shackle me. Give them a key and unleash me from slavery. So what? So what? So what? So what? Thank you.
Amazing. Also brilliant. Great imagery. I see you dancing. This by what? What now?
I'll try and write something else now. Boy, next time that's before.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Love you all.
Love you back. Aw.
Nice to see you well, Scott.
Marley, would you like to go next?
Yeah, thank you. It's so good to be here.
Welcome.
This is my first international, being in the UK, it's my first international poetry thing. So lots of friendly faces, which is brilliant because a lot of you have joined us in the UK on a lot of things. So it's nice to recognize some people. I was going to do a different piece, but I changed my mind inspired by Mama talking about her father in his orange jumpsuit. So this is a poem about my dad being a massive wanker. That's jerk off to you Americans. Basically one day after not seeing him for 15 years, I opened a newspaper and he was centerfold. He'd been arrested for breaking into someone's house, wielding a kitchen knife with a balaclava on, plastic bags on his feet. So I wrote a poem about it. It goes like this. You put the fear in ethereal living. I'm struck twice from the side by the feelings I'm given, because I'll pine, wine and dine, walk the line. I'm in prison, but Folsom can't break me. Johnny's cash is temporary, but eventually I'll be put in life where it isn't, you see. I'll upset the apple cart like swerving's a talent. I'll fall far from the tree like throwing shade is a challenge. Crush, grind, press it. Fermentation's the best bit, because I'll be selling cider like it's 10 grand a gallon. And this ain't a story about arrogance, power bent on revenants. I never want you bowing to my eminence. The evidence was clear from when I fell to rock bottom. Pips falling from my pockets, stopped dropping and trodden. But you see, a seed doesn't need sunlight to sprout. So while I'm down there in the pits of despair, I found the time for me to figure it out. You put the male in malevolence, pale and irreverent, forever and ever when forever wasn't ever meant. I'm talking A, B, and C, all the way to L and back again and fell again. If life's a journey, I can't see the relevance. But I'm not done with you yet. You still got answers to give. I suffered hard, obliviously you're corroborative. And it's easy to live when you're creeping in the shadows like a snake on a hot day. But I'll be getting rattled when you claim in a fugue state. Your face is looking weathered when I open the papers. Brace yourself. Pacemakers fake a replacement. Takes 8 months just to make and break an engagement. Make it a statement. Sip a Saxby for the sake of curtailment. You put the other into motherland. At least I know there's something to discover. And you put the harm in pharmacy, plant to seed, the bitter pill to swallow when it doesn't grow a money tree. 15 years denied your son or your daughter. No loss to either. Now you put the laughter in slaughter. I'm caught in the porch there, polyethylene footsteps where there ought to be laughter, because that's the kind of father I'm after. Thank you.
Wow. Brilliant. So brilliant. Very well crafted. Yes, yes. Okay, let's see. Anyone else want to go? Can I read oh, C.A. Williams, would you like to?
I will share one.
Thank you.
Was not planning on, really just came to listen today. I know I'm getting on here kind of late, but I am feeling inspired to share one of my pieces. As different as all of our poetry is, I have a poem that is titled Poetry Is. And this just really goes out to family members, friends that don't understand our love for poetry. So it is titled Poetry Is. If I was to ask you, what is poetry? You might answer with one word and say, boring. If I ask you what is poetry, you might say something that rhymes, that is filled with metaphors and similes. If I was to ask you what is poetry, you might say words on paper that many people look over because no one can ever understand the author. But if you were to ask me, if you was to ask me what is poetry, I would say creativity, I would say storytelling. If you ask me what is poetry, I'll say it's filled with lessons. Yes, poetry is teaching. For poetry is the mural without the paint, the sculpture without the clay. Poetry is art. Yes, yes, that is what I would say, but only if someone asked me. But since no one ever seems to ask about poetry, since people don't seem curious to want to know of its beauty, I guess poetry will remain a mystery. Well, that is, unless you are willing to ask me. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you. Would anyone else like to go? Look at page 2.
I can go again if all those who haven't been are finished.
Sure. And Finn, did you want to go too?
I do one.
Okay. We're doing well on time, so that's no problem
Can
at
I
all.
go again as well?
So Lantern Carrier. Oh, sure, yeah.
Great.
Ask a poet if they want to go again. Really?
I know. It's fun though.
Especially as I've got 1,000 poems.
We love your poems.
I'll give you a sweet piece. Alone in the solitude of emptiness. Being in love with you can sometimes feel like ballet. My soul soars and trembles like a bashful dancer, stunned in the bewilderment of speechless flames. The gleam of your luster has brought the sun and moon together, their rays delivering my shadows to a smoldering pyre of useless knots. You're adorned, my beloved, like immaculate flowers blossoming in my being. My gaze held captive by your innate beauty, unfurling itself in the bouquet of my soul. Each strum of your music is like that of mystic fairies, every melody like a thrill in my heart. Your moonlight appears like a river of light, bathing my core with its indigo rays. Sweet melody, you're more gorgeous than an empress, gentler than a stream, Bedecked like shooting stars, you remain unsullied like the glow of lustrous heaven. You unpeel your dreams, revealing the splendor of daybreak, an extraordinary display of elegance, drawing me closer to the wine of your lips. Nightingales sing of thy symphonies, yet without thy emerald gaze, who will satisfy my longing? Now I know why the sacred firmament still celebrates the shooting stars. You're more graceful than the swan, my rose, so much more eloquent than speeches. Each lover's scent of the honeysuckle draws you closer to my breath. O light of my sweet Shima, you're more vibrant than the sun. Gathering up the agonies of my yearning, I place them all at thy feet divine. I see you, waltzing effortlessly like a celestial maiden, soaring with the dignity of the condor, flapping with the grandeur of butterflies. You remain unmatched in feminine excellence. I'm only a songbird whose heart remains loyal, yet I'm so caught up in my reticence. I am soaked with autumnal sentiments, too shy to repeat the words I love you. In thoughts of you, I yearn for summer, my radiant best embrace on light-filled evenings. Beneath this beautiful sunset, I'm like a golden boat longing to drift on this current of enchantment with my queen. The moon's cascading twinkling stars, enthralling my vision with shimmering lights. Now my inner longing dances on the lap of liberation. I once tied myself to the chains of false entanglements. Now alone in this rapture of drunken emptiness, I bathe at the gates of a nameless freedom. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Yeah.
That was so amazing. Just shimmering. Beautiful, beautiful poem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. And let's see, I think next was Finn.
Okay.
We have some more as well,
Okay.
so.
I put a video on the other day of a thing I did last Wednesday, and and this poem was in it. And a friend of a friend put back, I'm in tears now, I'm crying. I went, yes, it worked. So this one might make you cry. It's called The Anguish of One. I'm going to cry until the skin wears away from my face. I'm going to cry until the tears don't look out of place. Don't say that I can't just because I'm a man. I can. I loved you so much. It hurts to be alone in this world without you beside me. I'm lonely. It's you that I miss, you and you only. I haven't yet mastered the art of living alone. I'm glad I don't have a phone because every time it rang, I would think it was you. I miss your smile, the smile that would clear the clouds from the sky and the grass would grow lush and green. Children laugh so cheerfully, life got calm and serene. When you smiled, the gods relaxed their icy grips. Life glistened as though it was the first day of spring. The rivers flowed so bright and sparkling when you smiled. I miss your tears, that when you cried, the lambs laid down to rest and the buds curled up as if to die, and weary willows hung low and seemed to sigh when you cried. Then you'd laugh. And summer would start its shining glow and the sky would turn blue and bright. Always day, never night. You laugh. But now, my days are empty. And happiness deserts me and solitude encapsulates my whole, my soul, my every day. My every day. Thank you.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Well written, well crafted.
And it's an old one. It's in a book of poems that I thought this one was 1987. I wrote that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
A lot of my new stuff is actually old stuff that I've found. It's a cop out.
Hidden Riches. Next, we have Joy again.
Uh-oh. Okay. So this is kind of about America from maybe a different perspective. And maybe after I read this little sonnet, maybe you would indulge me in reading another short poem that kind of tacks on to it. You see what you think, okay? And this is called Ethan Allen. I claimed my share of paraphernalia from familial sources, but my brother paid dear to remove our table to Hawaii. Great, dark, stained pine planks by Ethan Allen. Who knew we ate at, played board games, other wide-eyed childhood joys, back of such a lion, seeming, of the Revolutionary War. It's complicated, they say. Together we took to heart our stake in the DAR. Ticonderoga, sure, but who knew he wanted Vermont to rejoin the power which formerly held sway, England married. My brother, too, is married to Europe now, and I write this from my father's chair. And I'm just, I'd really love to read this other, it's a short one, and it's something that I've, so one, I can talk, I swear. CA was asking, what is poetry? And sometimes for me, poetry is something that talks about something really difficult to talk about, you know? And I just want you all to have a really good look at me. I'm just as white as I can be, right? Well, when the cat's tail is not in front of my face, okay? But I would really, I wrote this, it's not a comfortable poem, but after Mama and thinking about everything that's going on, and this one about the Revolutionary War, I'd love to share this other one with you, if you can give me just a second to find it.
Sure, please do. Thank you.
It's called Fight Racism. Fight racism, says my bumper sticker. So drivers come alongside to mark me, a white woman. Ally if you agree, race traitor if you don't. None of them know, nobody but maybe my remaining brother remembers how my paternal grandmother bitched about the blacks in my line, not on her side. My paternal grandfather, I never met, who married her because she was pregnant and whose family bought the divorce from her early last century for 1,000 bucks for the reason that she wasn't good enough for their son who came from belonged to the Johnsons of Key West. I believe I descend from slaves and the traders in slaves. So a schism within my skin and without. I mean, I sure as hell pass for white, no possible denying that. Not actually worth bringing up. But I look freshly at this old picture of my dad, broad-faced, grinning, with oh so tightly coiled black hair. And I believe I know something nobody knows. Thank you.
Thank you. You okay?
Yeah.
Love you.
I'm just, you know, I know it's not my place to claim that or anything like that, so I don't want to, I don't want to appropriate anything, but it's something that is hard for me to think about and communicate, and it's poetry.
It is, and you did it beautifully.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Now we have Dane.
Okay, yeah, it's taken me a little while to get this together.
Okay.
Starfish. What is the number of skies? How many moons orbit around us? I'm lost like a bag of slices, bleeding double-edged razor blades. This earth is my only earth, and I love her like a schoolboy crush. And when she turns and walks away, dropping my crumpled love note on the ground, seduced addiction fills her with corporations' mighty dick and sleek sophistication, too smart for our own good, gobbles globalization, steals everything and love from this poor boy with no appreciation for the holy sacred joy, with no appreciation for what might be some distant child's distant smile for tomorrow, face red, cooled by tears, selfish poison, brazen, watching sway of hips, ocean hips, watching as she walks away, knowing she is dying, watching trashy, filled, and sick under summer cotton dress sways, watching my lovely earth slipping, walking away, eternally yearning, floating plastic mercury in her fish. We have come to this heartbreak, this bargain bought for away from me and us love. She will not look me in the face. She cannot through pollution wink back, she loves me too. The hearts of wage slaves will be broken for a lark, beaten and defeated, accepting the giving up all there is for doing. So when you win all there is and wasted, the rest of us ready eat heartily the globalized lie that Ophelia died by accident, when it was in fact you murdered her. My earth, my Ophelia, by poisoning killed her soul, her mind, her sea, soil, and sky. Withdrawing usury pimp when finished and laughing, left me standing and the rest of all broken pieces of hearts and minds in our famished hands. Severed starfish joined together will be coming for you in the end. Thank you.
Wow, I totally agree with that poem. I feel you on that one. Wow. Beautifully done. Really pretty. Now I have two more. I believe Clive and Scott also wanted to say more. Yeah, Clive? Scott? Okay. Clive, if you'll go first.
Okay, right. Just before I start, I'd like to say that for the last few minutes, for whatever reason, I've been unable to access chat or give any reactions to anybody. So I haven't been ignoring other people's work. I literally can't access anything at the moment. So, so apologies for that. And I've really enjoyed everybody. So, and the poem I'm going to do, I mean, I said at the beginning that I do mostly comedy stuff now. So I'm really going to give a really false impression of myself now, because this is a poem I wrote some time ago that I was reminded of today, because I had a chat on Messenger with an absolutely brilliant poet, and talking about self-doubt and how so many of us suffer from it. And I know I suffered from it all through my life. You know, I've never had any great I'm a lot better now than I used to be, but I've never had any great self-confidence. I've always been very easy to knock down, and you know. So, and this is a poem I wrote called Self-Doubt. Hello, Clive. Remember me? I've been out of your life for a while, right? But I'm not gone away. I've been lurking, just waiting to strike on a night like tonight, so I can delight in crushing you when it matters most and the stakes are high. I like to do that. It's my modus operandi. It always hurts more if I choose my moments. It makes me such a fierce opponent to let you be foolish and begin to believe. Think you'll achieve some of the things you long for and need. You don't need success. It'd be wasted on you. If people liked you, what would you do? You're stupid and awkward and poor company. I'm your lifetime companion. You can never dump me because you are inferior. Whose voice are you hearing when I say that, Clive? Your ex-wives? Your fathers? Your mothers? Your daughters? You know they couldn't all be wrong, don't you? I have no control over which voice you hear, but I can control you with your fear. You know that, of course. I've done it before. And will knock you back down to the floor every time you open the door to me. And you can never refuse to grant me entry. You're the servant, I'm the gentry. You'll never be free. When things appear to be going well, I'll take you to that private hell within your subconscious, a prison cell that chains you, closes your mind to anything but what I have to tell you. You came here thinking people were interested in the feeble words you have to share. I know. But look at the disdain in their stare. Feel the contemptuous air that fills the room. You wear the cloak of a loser, and that's all they see. Your efforts and battles are invisible to them. Because you don't exactly rattle any cages. You don't carpe diem. I flatly refuse to let you do so. You are a slave to my intent, and you will wonder where your hope went on those days when there is no one to talk to. No one answers your calls. I say, hey, you have no one at all, and you'll never have the balls to doubt me. No one cares for you. You're not worth the effort. So you have an indefinite sentence. I am your jailer, your owner, and I make you a loner because that's what suits me best. So remember, whatever you do, no one is ever impressed. You were, you are, and always will be a gibbering mess. Forget any hopes you had of success. You're a nuisance. You're useless. There is no inducement for anyone to show any interest. You're mine, and I shall keep you suppressed. And just when you feel the corner is turned, I'm bigger and stronger when I return. Thank you. And I could see there were a lot of comments there, but I'm not going to be able to read them because every time I click on chat, it just disappears. Oh, no, it's working now. So,
Thank
yes.
you. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah.
Now we have
normally
Scott.
Stupid, but there you go.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Me? Okay. Just a very short one to finish off. To you, I'm just a tree. Old, gnarled and weathered. But I have stood the test of time. In seasons you have measured. And I will stand for seasons more. But you won't know or care. Only seeing winter's skeleton when all my branches are bare. Thank you.
Thank you. I love trees so much. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Now we have Bryan again. Bryan, you here?
I'm
There you
right
are.
here.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Scott, that was an absolutely gorgeous poem. I think that when you do romantic poems, it's just really, there's always an edge of romance to your poetry. So I did a workshop this morning, and this came out of it, and the prompt was the moderator of the presidential debate with the mute button. What could they do with it? And so this is the poem. It doesn't have a title yet. The debate moderator had a new mute button because the politicians interrupted each other, making a mockery of the debate. She said, I wish it could work on my mother and sister who complain about everything under the sun. After the debate was over, she noticed there were a dozen voicemails from her brother. For sure, someone must have died, but no one in the family had COVID. Mom was in great shape for 82. Sister ran triathlons, It turned out that both mom and sister had contracted something that caused them to lose their voices. They lived over 500 miles away from each other, and it had been over 8 months since the family had gotten together. Both had extensive exams in emergency rooms, and the doctors were flummoxed. The moderator's brother said, "I can't tell you how many times I wished I could push a mute button on their complaining like the mute button you had for the presidential candidates." The brother heard a thud. At that moment, the moderator realized it was her fault and fainted.
Thank you. Let's see. All right. Now, anyone else want to go?
I'll take another turn if there's a space.
Sure, Marley, go for it.
Yeah, Gary.
Okay.
Cool. So I wrote this piece for an anti-racism event that was taking place here during I don't want to say during the peak of the Black Lives Matter movement, because it ain't peaked yet. You can trust me on that.
Right.
It's called Boxes of Chicken. It's in response to the UK government in their nuanced racism. They decided that the best way to tackle knife crime was to put anti-knife crime adverts inside chicken boxes, because they think that Black people only eat chicken and that knife crime is only a Black people problem. So I wrote this poem in response to it. We're slaves to ideology and consumption. It's selfish. We're slaves to thinking that we're better than anyone else's. We're slaves from when we wake up to the time that we sleep for being born into a system with no help for the helpless. We suffocate, asphyxiate, heart rate perpetuating hatred. We overwhelm, appropriate, abbreviate for the sake of staying basic, assimilate at any rate, the whitewashed state to maintain power, degenerate, decelerate, propel to hate, their finest hour. The truth is our prime minister's a real racist, and Dave the rapper got it right when he used his platform to say this. And the problem isn't self-isolated when we're peeling back our history to see where the hate is. It takes 8 minutes, 46 seconds to put a man down. 8 minutes, 46 seconds is head to the ground. 8 minutes, 46 seconds, spectators surround. And it ain't finished in a split second, so come gather round, because we've got a history as whitewashed as the paper I write on. Colonial, custodial, protecting the white ones. And if only you'll believe it when you're faced with the lives gone, because you'll hashtag Black Lives Matter, but are you ready to fight, son? And I'm talking from a privilege that I don't debate. I hit the jackpot of the century, white, male, and straight. And I know my heart is meant to be my pale-skinned fate, because I know I couldn't live with being silent on hate. Now, when I grew up, my estate was always teeming with diversity. But I still remember the rejoicing when my first brown friend got into university. And thinking, why is it such a win? That seemed a little bit perverse to me. Absurdity is when the powers want the universe to be you versus me, because that's the way to keep the division. So they can profit from the Black lives that they're tossed into prison. So they can bomb the Middle East and its imperialism. And we can all sit back and benefit from anti-knife crime missions that they've stamped inside boxes of chicken. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Wonderful perspective. And more. Let's see, Gary, are you ready? Me next?
All right, that's better. Okay. Marley, you can choose. I've got a silly poem, a poem I'll just finish, or a sentimental poem.
Is the silly poem the one about apple crumble?
No. I normally say the silly one's the thing.
Okay, well, let's go.
Not that silly.
Let's go with the sentimental one.
I'll go for the sentimental one. All right. I don't. Right. There is one song where Stevie could do no wrong. A landslide. A landslide. It flourished me with every emotion. My tears go free fall when my friend Candy does her rendition. So I invite you all to close your eyes and imagine a tune that will centralize. With each teardrop comes a landslide. Tears flow like your blood gushing inside, fusing musical genres, booming, blooming, scary, like an Alton Towers ride. Wishing you were on a ghost train, a moment that you love of composing self-gain. This will be my will. My landslide, an unplugged guitar, will seek your lost soul and be kind. When I was dark place, I cried. I played a landslide. When I was overjoyed, I cried a landslide. When I was out of mind, I'm down on my knees, I prayed for a landslide. The blue, glisten, tingle, silence notes took my love, took it down from heaven above, and took it down. Life stood still until my heartbeat was found. I gasped the melancholy that pulled me up from the ground. Did you hear me? That teardrop rebound off the ground. A floating angel voice levitates me from ground zero, climbing, spiraling, and a mountain into a crescendo. Eyes filling up with icicle teardrops. Blushing, I turned around and I looked, I turned around. So I turned around and around and around, squeezing every motion that the world can see. My beautiful reflection. Blind, can't see her voice around me with a husky melody. Naked in the snow-covered hills below gravity, free from chill, glistening iceberg cracking, wanting you to hold while I stand still. Till the landslide brought me down the still. In a moment, the next verse is not rehearsed. I inhale the mist, the lust of the snow queen, cursed with the reawakening of the New Orleans jazz hearse. Oh, mirror, mirror in the sky, is it me you love? You can't deny, your heart can't. The child within my heart rise above, setting flight to the wingless dove. Can I sail through a changing ocean tides? I cry uncontrollably till there's a landslide, boiling tears to create a tsunami tide. I cried a landslide. Can I handle these changing seasons of my life with aspirations of that jagged knife, heightened by a horselagic, can't say that word, voice urges me to share this moment of solitude stilled life. Well, I've been afraid of changing because I've built life around you, but time made you bolder. Even the children get older, and I'm getting older from this landslide with muted sounds remembered for all of you to take it down. Sentimental enough for you, Marley?
Wow. Icicle tears. That's amazing. Everything. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. And now we have Kathy.
Hey, that was amazing, man. Thank you.
It was.
Yeah, wow. Some of the guys that have seen me before will have heard this before. I do apologize, but new crowd, I'm hoping some people haven't heard it before. My father drank. And some of you may be thinking, ah, sure, so did my own. But statistics tell me that there will be people in this room who understand exactly what I mean when I say my father drank. My father drank the meals we should have eaten and the clothes we should have had on our backs. My father drank Christmases and birthdays and every last penny of my first Holy Communion money. My father drank till he could no longer keep his demons in check, and he would say and do unthinkable things that he could never remember and we could never forget. My father drank. He would get his brew on a Monday, leave my mother's housekeeping on the second-hand kitchen table because God forbid that he should place it in her hand. On Wednesdays, he would ask for half of it back. On Fridays, he would ask for the second half. On Saturday, he would raid our piggy banks, and on Sunday, he would owe half the bar a pint. My father drank. As an adult looking back, I can only conclude that my mother raised us on air. But he would leave the house at 11 on a Saturday. By lunchtime, the walls of the house had begun to breathe, and by mid-afternoon, we had begun to breathe with it. My mother would put on the record player, housed in a bright orange case, and we would play the Kinks and the Beatles and Elvis Presley, and my sister and I would sing, "When I'm 64, so loud our throats scratched. And we would put on fluffy slippers that we knew slid on the tiled kitchen floor, and God bless my mother, she did her best to teach us to jive. My mother bought cardigans from jumbo sales, and she would rip out the wool and save the buttons, which meant that we had the best button box in the whole of our street. She would reknit the wool into 10-centimeter squares, and on Saturday afternoons we would lay them on the tiled kitchen floor because later she would stitch them to make blankets for our beds. My mother ran the bath at 6:30, and my sister and I sat in each other's grime. 7 o'clock found us sat in front of the coal fire as my mother wielded this fine metal comb through damp hair, root to tip in search of lice that she never found. And we would watch Morecambe and Wise and drink ginger cordial from wine glasses and eat heart-shaped sandwiches made with a cookie cutter. And my mother would watch Morecambe and Wise and drink a cup of tea and smoke a cigarette and stitch her blankets and read a Mills and Boone all at the same time. You know what? 6 and 8 years old, we had heard the battles that went on in our home. My father's words were already planted in my mind like primed grenades, and the wounds he inflicted on my mother were already teaching me, hold fire, lie low. But we had not yet seen the war, not yet been in the trenches. But in the war in which we were raised, my mother made pockets where calloused hands on damp hair calmed the storms within us, where fluffy slippers became blue suede shoes, and where heart-shaped sandwiches were quite literally the best thing since sliced bread, and where knitted squares of wool became more valuable than rubies and more precious than diamonds. And later she would drape these squares around our shoulders and say, "Night, night. Close your eyes now, shut tight." And we would close our eyes shut tight, and we would wait on the war. Thanks, Emma.
Wow. Brilliant, moving, powerful, emotional. Well done. I don't know what else to say. It was beautiful. Looking here. All right. It's almost 5. We've got a little bit more time. Is it okay if I read one?
Sure.
Okay. I have 2. I've got either weak, which is shorter, or train of thought, which is long. Up to you. The long one, huh?
The long one. No.
The long one. Okay, we can do that. Almost easy. There it is. Okay, this one's called Train of Thought. I'm a walking paradox on my way to the car in my dreamy state. I'm awake, still dreaming in traffic. A long white expanse with its red lips. Meanwhile, each of us in our little car boxes, our little worlds. It's another beautiful day dawning at the Department of Energy. The geese are on the lawn near the barricades. Good morning, you're a mama's boy. Now your mouth out full in a wide pink yawn, your mouth down slugging the travel mug. A strange place again in my mind, a languid dream, a baker's dream of delicate recipes, a welder's dream of merging disparate elements in the night of dreaming, during the day, plumb the depths of night. Night, work through grooved pavement, bump, groove, grind. I want to make the signs, still feeling it, blind, still steering. The peaceful state of Genevieve, the colors of the wall change when she touches them and on their own. The telephone pole switched to schooner masts and she's off in the middle of your conversation. The moon is waiting for the night trains to fly to it, for the airplanes to glide to it on silver rails. Make some zigzags in the parking lot on my way in, sudden as a laugh, as light as feeling 19 again. All the unused dental floss waiting inside in their encouraging little boxes, the best intentions of the world curled up on the spools. Your dirty ambush, a red bruise all up against my sex, burning glare and spilling your anger out at me. You have no idea. Explosive sex in his mouth to find out you're 19. Write some positive erotica, a long silk love letter to my red. Make it right again. I'm tipping it over now. You can't see. You don't even know me. I'm ripe and I deserve to be. Me now again with my jumble head, my circus head in the jumble field, the circus fields, the sea fields, in the picnic bed with the bit torrent on. Download this. The coal black birds in the jumble house of the tumble down mind, the jumble mind. I sure could use a ukulele and some barbecue, a moonlit night and a very slow dance under shimmer trees. The train comes just then, the bar goes down, holy roller, holy sweep, streaming, and it's gone. The shortest trains now, for lack of passengers, ghosts of 40s A trains and red cabooses, Jasmine train, jazz invention, jazz engine, jazz freight train, the velvet underground of your mouth, bliss, charter, crystal transport, the train of your understanding across some nameless bridge, some damn fool done crossed it out. All the nice birds, the sweetness returns from Cabin John to Glen Echo, all above the swirling green bird on a quest. Meanwhile, the clouds above the traffic stopped. Some smooth building interrupts. The pieces come in backwards, making more sense, surreal. The sky is full of clouds for Howard Finster. He's up there putting faces on each one. He says, get back on with your zigzag, girl. Get back in with your light. Equanimity to the bubbling sea of us. Humanity. Planet bulging with veins and lightning. Quasars at night. Electric light still a miracle somehow. Now that's some kind of serious wonder. Rinse, repeat. Why, thank you. I'm glad you like that. Yeah. Would anyone else like to go? All right, well, we've had a lovely time. Thank you for double features from Caitlyn and Mama. And for Finn Hall and Dane Ince for their collaborative piece that will go on and on and on, which is good and good and good. Thank you all so much for being here. It's good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We
Amy.
don't have to go right away, but
Amy, thanks for being a
Thank you.
wonderful host and all the help you've given me in the past 3 weeks or so.
Aw,
Really appreciate it, all the help.
happy to help. Gosh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
for
you,
having
Amy.
Thank you, Amy. I'll
You're
see you.
welcome.
And I'll see you like a block from the blue in a couple of weeks.
I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, then I'll do a funny part.
Amy, if you have the email, I forget who it was, but somebody who lost his internet connection, who didn't get his chat, if you could save the chat and send it to him.
Yes, I will do.
That was me, and it's come back now, and I've managed to save it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Thanks for having me, Amy. I appreciate it.
Oh gosh, thank you. It was an
Nice to hear
honor.
from y'all. Y'all are awesome. I'll be back.
Thank you, Amy and Caitlyn, for inviting me.
You're
This
welcome.
is Evelyn in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Thank you for the inspiration and a day brightener today.
Yay. Thanks for coming, Evelyn.
Yeah, I just had to call in on phone, but it was just a wonderful event, and I'm so glad I was part of it. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's awesome.
Awesome. I love from all the international people. I loved hearing from you guys, and it's awesome that we can connect over, overseas and stuff. That's awesome.
Caitlyn, how sweet and exquisite you were.
Amy.
Floating like a butterfly.
Amy.
Yes.
I did my first overseas Zoom with you. I always remember it. It was, and like the next person, all the way from Peterborough, Cambridge, to you in America, and the next person that came along was Scott Coe, who lives down the road from me.
And funnily enough, I did my first international one tonight, and I'm only down the road from you. I'm like a half-hour drive from you or something.
Oh,
So.
nice. Scott's in spitting distance.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're
How
all
far
close
is a stone's throw?
That's awesome.
Thank you all. Bye.
Welcome. Thank you all for being here.
Good to see you, Caitlyn.
Have a blessed
Thank you.
evening. Sleep well.
Thanks, Amy. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jimmy, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Francesca.
Bye, everyone.
This is the start of my international tour with Clive for the evening. I'm tagging on to Clive's tour tonight. So
stamina.
Are you coming to the brewery, Marley?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Good, man.
If you need to stamina to keep with Clive, I've never been. I can't remember going to many Zooms without Clive being there, and I'm having to do 3 a day.
Yeah, well, I saw him post about it, and I was like, you know what? I've not got a lot going on tonight. Maybe I could make that work. So we'll see if I make all 3. Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
And Amy, can you get Joy to join Say It Louder?
What now? Invite her to say it louder?
Yeah.
Can do.
All right.
We like
See you
that.
later, lads.
Where are we going now?
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Amy.
Yes?
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're an angel.
Oh, so are you.
Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.